literally had no support. My friends didn't understand. My parents didn't understand. No one understood, but I always tell people your best support system is outside of your current situation in your circle, because you're going to a different level. You're going further than that. So if you want this to be your support system, you're going to remain here.
Just take us through your journey from the first big chop in 2002 to having the product line to owning your own salon now. Just take us through that journey and how you got to where you are now.
So my journey is like one of those memes that you see with all like the roadmaps and the circles.
Yeah, it's not
and
straight.
It's not even certain things God kind of like revealed to me at different parts.
For sure.
And so here I am, but yeah, it's just not a straight like, oh, I always wanted to do this, and then I, studied this and I did that, and it's just kind of like every little piece that I needed throughout the journey, I got to get where I am now and where I'm going.
Got you. So knowing where you are now, the deviations, if you will, that you've taken, what would you have told yourself 10 years ago, whether it's patience, whether it's, hey, trust this course, what would you have told yourself 10 years ago if yourself now was talking to you 10 years younger?
There's a few things. One of the major things, and I tell people this a lot, is where you are now is the transportation to your destination. Because I think so many people get stuck in areas along the journey, but you need everything. You need the rejection. You need, the bad days. You need the rainy days for growth. And so for me, that's a huge thing, is just knowing wherever you are is not where you're going.
Gotcha.
And so I was just kind of like a lot of 25-year-olds that I see, like, you're told, okay, go to college, start at a large company and then kind of work your way up and try to network, but you don't necessarily know what you want to do, and you don't necessarily end up doing what you go to school for.
For sure.
And so I would say I was lost, like a lot of 25-year-olds, and I was just kind of like happy to be there, grinding it out, getting my little paycheck. And any of this I didn't see. I knew that I had the potential to be something great, but I didn't really know what and how, I was going to get there and how that would take shape.
For sure. So you said you were kind of lost at that 25.
Yeah.
So were you okay with being lost? Were you flustered at that time? Like, how did you go from being lost at 25 to kind of figuring it out along the way?
So I think that I might kind of consider myself a late bloomer, but then when you look at like Oprah and Maya Angelou and like other, women that have done amazing things, they kind of started later in life. And I mean, they had some small successes, but where you really start to see them take shape and become who they were supposed to be is later.
Yeah, 40 is the new 20.
40 is the new 20. And so for me, I kind of feel like I'm a late bloomer. Like, I'm 35 and I'm just kind of like now realizing and actualizing like my dream and who I am and my purpose.
For sure.
And for me, I would say 25, I was super lost. I had a lot of small victories along the way to kind of like let myself know who I really am. So like, one of the best jobs and worst jobs that I ever had was at 28. And that was my, maybe 27, introduction to recruiting. And so I went on an interview for this company to be a technical recruiter, and I just knew I wanted to be an IT recruiter. And they said, well, how do you feel about, FDA regulated industries, medical device and pharmaceutical? I'm like, I don't know. Well, they had an opening for that, and I'll never forget, in my job interview, the supervisor said, well, how much do you want to make next year? And I said, well, like 60,000. And he laughed because I think the base salary was like 27. Wow. So that means I had to make that up with commission. Yeah. And for me, I know I'm a natural born hustler. Like, I can sell water to a well. But being in a position where I'm the only African American woman, young, I knew nothing about the industry. I hadn't ever recruited, but I sold myself to get the job. And that year I made over 90,000. Wow. And they never seen anybody anybody in the company come in and just do that. And so for me, I really realized, okay, wait, I have something here. And this is me. This is not training they've given me.
Yes.
This is not, anything I learned in school. Like, this is me. And I have this ability to make these relationships and connections and sell and, figure this industry out. So if you put me here, you can put me anywhere.
For sure.
So it's like Puffy says, if you put me in the jungle, I'm going to come out with a chinchilla coat. Like, that's my mind, my mindset. But now I really believe that and get that. So I would say that's probably the job that I had that turned things around for me. And then that's when I started back with the beauty industry and started kind of, selling and recruiting for myself.
Gotcha. So I've heard a lot about self-awareness, a little bit about patience. What are 3 practical tips that you'll give someone who's 23, 24, 25 to start their journey to success? Because it's not 3 tips to get success. It's the journey to success.
So number 1 would be kind of isolation.
Okay.
You have a lot of things going on at that age, and a lot of friends are lost, and people don't really know what they want to do, and you hear a lot of people in your ear. So elevation requires separation. I know a lot of people have heard that before, but it's true. So for me, I've done my best work when I shut the doors, shut the windows, turn off the music, and just kind of sit with myself and figure out what it is that I want to do. And it may not be that you're going to do what you do at 23, but at the same time, you do kind of need to quiet down the noise so you can listen to your inner self.
For sure.
So that's one thing. And then another thing, it's cliche and I'm going to say it again, but it's believe in yourself. Because if I had listened to everybody in my life who told me things or what I shouldn't do or, oh, you should look into that, I wouldn't be where I am and I wouldn't be where I'm going.
This wasn't a question, but you say you were in corporate America and you were also doing some of the entrepreneurship stuff on the side. Was there a point where it was, oh, I don't think I can do that, and then you finally changed the mindset and started to do it? Because I have a lot of my friends that are in corporate America. I'm like, hey, man, well, when you start your side hustle at home,
yeah.
they just,
they don't,
you know, that you can do it. What was your thought process to start the side hustle?
So I've always had a side hustle.
Okay.
Like when I was little, I made bracelets. I had a lemonade stand. I'm
Yeah.
a natural born hustler. And I think I do get that from my father.
For sure.
So even when I was in college, I worked at a cell phone store, and I would say, I did customer service, and people would come in with small business accounts. So I'd say, oh, well, who does your business cards or your marketing? And they'd be like, oh, well, nobody. Okay, well, I do that. And I would be hustling at the,
Yeah.
or I would, I used to make wigs. People would come in, oh, I like your hair. And I was like, oh, I can make you one too. So that's just,
For sure.
yeah. So for me, it wasn't really anything to start it up. The thing is, I had to really take myself seriously.
Okay.
And once I did that, and I saw how much there was in the market, because the thing is, I have friends who are hairstylists. I've been in the industry forever, makeup, hair, worked at salons. However, it's not something I really wanted to do because of their experiences.
Okay.
Not knowing that what I had was totally different and that it would take off like this. And so for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do this on the side. I'm going to, make some more money and figure this thing out. But when I really, from a business perspective, when I really started to see, wait, I have something here, I started taking myself more seriously. But people come to me all the time and they're like, well, I work in corporate and I really want a cupcake business, or I want to do this and I want to write a book. My advice to them is do it. And it's so hard for people to get started because, oh, I need to have all of my ducks in a row. Why is that even a saying? Because ducks don't cooperate. When are ducks ever lined up? They're not. Something's going to happen to your car. You're going to have a family emergency. Yep. You're going to have a project at work. You're going to get laid off. Things happen in life. It's never a good time to start. So just start. And things will come up, in between, but you have to want it more sometimes than you want sleep. You have to want it more sometimes than you want to eat. And if you don't have that drive, and if you don't want it bad enough, you're not going to do it. There's people, oh, I wish, I've been praying about this LLC. Form the LLC. It's $300. Go online and do it. What are you waiting for? If you have $300, do it. So they're waiting. Oh, well, I got to get the business plan before I can. No, start where you are and start with what you have.
Yes.
Many people don't know my story, and I'll tell it again, or I'll tell it one day. I literally had nothing when I started. And literally nothing. But I had me, and I had my God-gifted talents and abilities.
Yep.
And
that desire to want
the desire,
Yep.
and I went with it, because where you are day one is not where you're supposed to be. Like, do you think Michael Jordan picked up a basketball the first day and was like Michael Jordan? No. So, but you have to be willing to start, and you have to be willing to do the work.
All right, so early on, you may not have the support of everybody around you, loved ones, family, and friends. What do you say to the young people out there that may want to do something creative, may want to be a YouTuber, may want to be a makeup artist, when they don't have the support from home?
I would say that you just have to go for it. Like, I didn't have the support that you would think that I had, looking at where I am now. So even my parents were so confused, especially my dad. My dad, he's a corporate guy, VP level of sales, high-tech sales.
Yep.
So he was like, you want to do hair? Like, what do you know? You pay people to get your hair done. You don't do hair.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, it's not so much of that. That's all I wanted to do. I'm a businesswoman first, but of course I apply and then I duplicate myself, and then there you go. So it really wasn't until maybe 14 months ago where he really started to see, wow, because so many people know who my dad is where we live. And so it's always, oh, you're his daughter. But he started to get people walking up to him to say, oh, you're her dad. And he's like,
Right.
wait, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
And so I literally had no support. My friends didn't understand. My parents didn't understand. Cousins, no one understood. But I always tell people, your best support system is outside of your current situation in your circle, because you're going to a different level. You're going further than that. So if you want this to be your, where you are to be your support system, you're going to remain here.
Gotcha.
You need those people outside, those people who find you. So keep going.
Those like-minded people.
Like-minded people. Not everybody's going to feel you, but some people will, and then when you find those people, go with it. But it's lonely. And it's really, really lonely. And they can say that it's lonely at the top, but the journey to the top, it can be even lonelier.
Get a little lonely too.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
No, I like that, because like you said, just with so many different creative industries now, the baby boomer and Gen X mentality,
they don't get it.
They don't get it. It's like, hey, you go work that 9 to 5, you get your benefits.
Yeah. But there are so many ways to make money. People spend money on everything. Like, if you have something you want to do it. What's the worst you can do? I know a really talented artist. He's a tattoo artist. He did a couple of tattoos for me, and he was like, I'm going to move to LA. And I was like, you should. I mean, why not? You can always come back here and get a BS job anywhere. Like, who can't get a BS job?
Yeah.
We all
corporate America ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And it's not even that, corporate, like, if you, because there's so many people that have graduated that are working in restaurants, or they're working at these jobs that have nothing to do with the field that they're in, and they're not making very much money. But you still have time to do those creative things, and
for sure.
and really pursue what it is, you want to do. Even if you don't see traditional jobs, make one for yourself. What I do is not a job. I just made it for myself.
You monetized it.
Yeah, I monetized it, and I created my own lane.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.